Hi and welcome to QpiAI Pro. In this video, we will give you a quick demonstration of one of our flagship auto annotation algorithm, that is few short annotations. So let's head towards dataset and start the video. So once you are in the datasets, you can use an already existing raw set of images for few short annotations, or you can quickly upload a new dataset. Now do remember to provide the class name and description for raw image datasets. Let's keep it short for the sake of demonstration. Once you're done with the adding all the class labels, you can configure the dataset and move ahead with the uploading of the files. Now let's upload these files. Once the file upload is done, you can click on the finish button. This will redirect you to the data visualization window. Now let's head back to the datasets. So this is the dataset we just uploaded. Let's click on details. Now you can see the number of files, the size, class, label, and relevant details here. Now let's head and start the few short annotation job. Once you click on few short annotation, this will redirect you to the embedding and clustering engine. Now, here you can see the number of recommended clusters for this dataset are 2, and the respective density is also being displayed. Now let's select cluster number 1. Let's see the images that are in cluster number 1. Are they fairly similar or not? Similarly, let's head to cluster number 2 and see, are the images relevant or not. If you are not satisfied with the recommended number of clusters, you can always change the number of clusters. Say for example, for this particular case, I want to increase the number of clusters to 3. I can do that. I'll increase the number of clusters. I'll click on submit. Let's wait for some time. Now the number of clusters has been changed, and if I go to the drop down, I'll see the number of clusters as 3. Now the density looks fairly above zero point 0.9, so it should fairly be similar. Let's again select cluster number 1. Now let's do one thing. The number of manual prompts that we want to provide for this particular cluster, let's select that as 2. The number of prompts for cluster 2, let's again select that as 2. And for the cluster number 3, let's again select the number of prompts as 2. Now, once you are done with the thorough EDA for the clusters, you can click on Log and Proceed. Once you click, it will display a confirmation pop-up which will ask you that have you gone through the clusters, because once you click on Lock and Proceed, you would not be able to change the number of clusters for this particular dataset. So once I confirm, I will again be redirected to the few short annotation pipeline. So now you see here that the clusters are available. You see the pipeline, that is the prompt images. You will provide the manual annotation for prompt images. You can annotate the rest of the images in cluster. You can refine the annotations which are generated by this algorithm, and you can say once you are all done with the clusters, you can save the annotations. Now let's start with cluster number 1. Once you select cluster number 1, the prompt images will open in the manual annotation environment. Now you can choose to either draw the rectangle, the polygon, polyline, the brush tool, or what I would like to prefer is use this interactor or AI assisted manual annotation tool. For this, I select the magic wand, this relevant class label, click on interact, and I just need to provide a key point for this object of interest. For each of the image, the model will get loaded and it will analyze the pixels in the image and it will provide you with the segmentation mask. So now this car has been identified. Let's click on done. Again, I'll go to interact. There are more cars in this dataset. I'll click on this car, done, and so on. we are done with this image, we'll save the annotations. Once the annotations are saved, we'll move to the next image. Now let's select another class, that is road. Wow, this has really picked up the entire section of the road. Let's select another class, that is person. As we see, one person as well here. And yes, it has correctly identified the person as well. Let's save these annotations. And if you remember, we didn't provided the mask for the road in the previous image. So let's navigate to the previous image, select the class label for road, and let's provide the road as well. Now this is done. Once you have done all the manual annotations, you can click save. Make sure to navigate through all the images, and once you are done, you can move to annotate. So now, since that you have already provided the manual prompts for cluster number 1, you can annotate cluster 1. This may take a while, so we'll just hang on and we'll just wait for the annotation job to get finished. So that was quick enough, and now it is loading in the define annotations. This will again load the images with the annotations generated by the automated annotation engine, and this will be opening in the manual annotation environment. So if you want to change any of the annotations, if some of the objects of interest are missing, or if there are some wrong annotations, you can do so and you can correct the annotations and move ahead. Let's say all these annotations are correct. We can save these annotations and move to cluster number 2. Once you are in cluster number 2, let's move to the prompt images. Again, you have the manual annotation environment. Let's select the magic wand tool, provide the cluster annotations manually. Now that the mask is generated, we can select another object of interest. There is one more car. We see one more car in the vicinity. So let's select all the cars. You can also right click and provide negative points. Done. We see a bus as well in the background. So let's provide the reference for the bus label as well. This is not part of a bus. This was a car. So let's right click on this and provide it as a negative key point. Finally, let us provide the annotation for road. Correct. Now that this image has been manually annotated, let's save this annotations and move on to the next image. Now this person is missing. Let's again click on this magic wand. Let's identify this person. And yes, the person has been identified. We need to provide the label for the bike as well. That means if in case the annotations are missed, you still have a manual control and you can provide the relevant annotations as well. If the clusters are poorly annotated, you can choose to go back to the prompt images, or if there are only couple of annotations which are being missed, you can actually provide the annotations right here. And once you have done with all the annotations, you have saved the annotations. Let's select the last cluster, that is your cluster number 3. Let's go to the prompt images. So once you have gone through all the annotations, you can finally click on the save button. This will save all the annotations that were generated from your prompt images and were applied to your clusters. Make sure you save the dataset before you head out of the few shot annotation. And once you have done this, you can go to the dashboard or the datasets. Once we click on this save button, it will help us to save all the annotations and load it in the visualization server. So let's click on this save button. It will take a moment. You can see annotations have been saved successfully. Now we can view the annotated images. Here we can see all the images have been annotated. So that is it for the few shot annotations. We hope you have had a great time learning the few shot annotation, that is visual prompting in QpiAI Pro. See you for the next video. Have a great day. Thank you.